Members of the Patriot Guard have volunteered to escort the body of Ed Whaley from this Grand Prairie funeral home. The Air Force veteran was one of the few remaining POWs from World War II and will be buried at Dallas National Cemetery after he died last week at the age of 92. During his funeral, Whaley's family had photos and memorabilia from the veteran's life on display. Whaley was the last survivor of a plane crash 67 years ago that killed 8 fellow crewmen during World War II. Just before his B-24 was shot down over Germany, the Air Force gunner strapped parachutes on friends before jumping out himself, only to end up as a prisoner of war. Whaley spent 14 months in the brutal Stalag 17 prison camp, where he survived on bugs and sawdust until the end of the war, when he was released.
My dad is a true hero. He has the spirit that could touch anyone's heart. And if you would have met him, he would have stolen a part of your heart.
Whaley retired from the Air Force in 1961. He left behind 3 children, 7 grandchildren, and 11 great-grandchildren who are certainly grateful he survived that plane crash and that year as a prisoner of war. In Grand Prairie, J.D. Miles, CBS 11 News.
He was shot down over Germany and held for years as a prisoner of war. World War II bomber pilot Ed Whaley sacrificed a lot for our country.
Mr. Whaley died last week, but today his life and his sacrifice were celebrated in Grand Prairie. Here's CBS 11's J.D. Miles.
Surrounded by family, patriots, and veterans, one of the bravest to wear a uniform received a special escort from a Grand Prairie funeral home to the Dallas National Cemetery.
He was a true hero, a true American hero from the very get-go, before I was even born.
Ed Whaley was the last survivor of a plane crash 67 years ago that killed 8 fellow crewmen during World War II. Just before his B-24 was shot down over Germany, the Air Force gunner strapped parachutes on friends before jumping out himself, only to end up as a prisoner of war.
The tail gunner had been shot in both hands, and he found a parachute on one of the guys, put him on it, and then they went out the side window.
Whaley spent 14 months in the brutal Stalag 17 prison camp, where he survived on bugs and sawdust.
Bread was made out of wood chips, and you couldn't, eat it, and to this day he didn't eat bread.
Whaley persevered and survived until the end of the war, when he was released. His 2 children, 7 grandchildren, and 11 great-grandchildren who came after that are grateful.
Oh, words can't explain it. Words can't explain it.
Whaley's family had his memorabilia and even pieces of his crashed plane on display at his funeral, so everyone could learn about a remarkable life that ended last week after 92 years. In Grand Prairie, J.D. Miles, CBS 11 News.
One more piece of living history no longer here.
Right.
Those losses are tough, and they're happening way too quick.